I think that Umar wins this fight everywhere. I mean, but look, Umar's got good submissions, man. I mean, he's been working since he was young. You know, at 19 years old, when he came into the gym, I was working with him. He was asking a ton of questions, just constantly wanting to get better. And I was just texting with Habib the other day. Yeah, we were just texting back and forth and just talking about, you know, his abilities to how much better he's gotten better in his grappling, his wrestling, his abilities to chase submissions now. And that's going to be a big threat. I really believe that even though you can be a good wrestler, like Arman Sarukian as well, they leave their neck sometimes in bad positions. They leave themselves in positions that maybe they're not thinking they're going to get caught because it hasn't worked against them before in the past against other fighters.
Merab Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov. I'll say it real quick. I think the pair of them cancel each other's wrestling out. I just can't allow myself to see Merab getting controlled on the ground, right, like Umar's going to try. He couldn't do it necessarily to Corey Sandhagen. He got lots of takedowns, but he didn't get a lot of control time. If Corey can get up, I don't see why Merab can't. I think the fight ends up playing out on the feet. I'm leaning Umar, but I'm going to say Merab. Let's be honest here. My picks are definitely swayed by the fact that Merab is open to jumping on the show anytime. Umar has let me down twice. I'm like, I got to go with my guy.
I got to start thinking about that.
Yeah, no. If I'm being honest, yeah, Umar. I think Umar beats him on the feet.
I think Nurmagomedov's going to do it. I think he's going to be up against it for probably 15 minutes because I think Merab's going to come out and set the pace. And I think he's going to really, really push the pace to try and make a point. And I think he's going to try and wrestle a lot. And I think Nurmagomedov is going to defend some of the takedowns, but I also think he's going to attack with submissions. And I think eventually he might catch Merab. It wouldn't surprise me if we see Umar get a hold of Merab's neck at some point and be down 2 or 3 rounds and get the submission finish.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, I've been thinking about it lately, and I've been saying that like Umar's my pick almost, because he can wrestle, he can utilize that skill set to kind of negate Merab's strengths, but his striking is much higher,
miles ahead. Yeah,
you know, as well as physically, that he's got the attributes to enhance that even further. He's got longer arms, he's a taller guy, he can punch, kick, he's got the body structure to be able to capitalize on that strength very well. But I don't know. I think something is telling me in the last couple of days, I'm like, you know what? Everyone discounts Merab. Dude, guy does what he does so well.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking maybe over 5 rounds, him just being relentless with that sort of mauling sort of work. He creeps out another decision win. You know what I mean? Just a gut feeling. I don't know. I want to see Merab do his thing. I want to see him get in there with his awkward hands, close the gap, and then just continue that kind of pace, 5 rounds, and creep out decision win.
I think he can really, really start to break Umar in them later rounds. I can really see that. But early, does he get caught? Because he does take risks. So that's where I'm going to go. I think it'll be hard. Now, Umar can definitely win decision as well, through damage and survival. I think he does slow down in them later rounds. But I mean, I guarantee he's working hard. Khabib's been in his corner all camp. So they're putting the hours in. But I just don't think he's felt that type of pressure. Different control pressure. We're really good at sticking and making you not move, which is hard, but sometimes you feel helpless, but you know you're not exerting as much effort because you can't move. Where Merab, you are gonna fight your way. There's gonna be opportunities for you to get your base back, get back up, and then he's shooting again. Then you've got to sprawl again. Then you've got to brace. You're constantly tensing up and constantly reacting, which you're gonna have to do, with Merab. I think that can play a big factor. And because he's such a big underdog, I'm going with value here. I'm going to go with Merab.
I think Umar wins, but I'm going to let you know why. You know why? Because Umar been training all this Russian for all his life. So all these Merab style takedown, put against the cage, crazy movement. This guy saw that his whole life, you know, like Khabib used to do that. I think they have the formula to beat these guys. So I think Umar is gonna win. More than that, I think Umar is gonna dominate, maybe finish Merab. And guess what? I don't see a guy that's gonna beat him.
Obviously, his last name's Nurmagomedov, so you know he's a grappling machine. I think Khabib and those guys are going to have an excellent game plan against Merab, though. All those positions where Merab likes to get into and he likes to take 2 minutes off the clock, take 2.5, 3 minutes off the clock, I think they're going to negate those real quick. And Umar's going to be a lot more dangerous when they're in the open. But also, Umar has that broken arm. If I was Merab's team or whatever, I would be going out there trying to kick that arm as hard as I fucking could and break that thing early on. So who knows what's going to happen? If Umar arm is seriously that hurt and he hasn't been sparring and he hasn't been able to live wrestle and live grapple against Merab, and Merab forces him into some scrambles and Merab's forcing Umar to carry his weight, then who knows? It could be a long night. But I think if I had to bet money on it right now, I would probably bet that Umar is going to beat him by decision.
I think it's going to be such a good fight. For me, Umar is so good. Watching him in training, seeing everything he does, and he does everything so good, so well that I think he's going to have to show everything this fight. If people are going to be awake to see how good he really is. No, I think just stylistically, when you're looking at the division, I think Umar is the worst matchup for Merab. Umar is, even with wrestling, and he has way better striking than Merab, I think. But Merab, like you said, he's a dog, and he always figures out a way. And his cardio, I think, is still the best in division comparatively to everybody else. And when it comes down to cardio and it comes down to heart, Merab's up there with everybody in the UFC. But I just think that stylistically, when I'm looking at this matchup, I think Umar is just so good. And when it comes to the point of cardio, Umar's cardio is up there with him. His wrestling's up there with him. But he has the edge in striking. And I think he has the edge in submission game as well.
I still don't know. I honestly don't even know which way I'm going to go. I watched fight footage of both these guys. I'm even more confused than I was before, because what's so interesting is that, you know, you look at Umar, right, and his kicking game. It's fantastic. It's going to be better than Merab's. But then how is your kicking game if you get a guy like Merab who's constantly backing you up? So that might be nullified there. So, there's so many different ways that this fight could play out, which is why it's so fascinating, which is why it's so exciting. And honestly, I'm still confused and not which way. I'm still unsure which way I'm going to go.
Merab's gas tank is just different. To me, in my eyes, Merab's gas tank is different, and I believe at his pace, he outworks anybody. And I believe that's what he should do. That's what he should look to do. Staying safe, just don't try to do his best not to get caught, and work that gas tank. For Umar, I believe Umar needs to be able to close the range precisely with good footwork, good footwork movement, and be in good position at all times, so he can deal with that work and then land his shots off of that, as well as working his way in the range to find his shot while he's working his way in the range with combinations, with some of those knees up the middle, teep kick. I believe a teep kick would be big for Umar, and a knee up the middle would be big for Umar, and then just work his straight punches to kind of try to find him.
When you look at the last four for Umar, it is Corey Sandhagen, Bekset Al-Makan, it's Randy Barcelos and Nate Maness. When you look at the last four for Merab Dvalishvili, it's 4 champions in a row. Jose Aldo, Piotr Yan, Henry Cejudo. Last time out took the belt off Sean O'Malley. So he's fighting the best guys, the cream of the crop, former champions, legends, future Hall of Famers. Whereas Nurmagomedov, he's still winning, he's still beating, he's still undefeated. But you could just say that that's a smarter path, and he's slowly working his way up. You can make a lot of it, give a lot of opinions either way. The reality is, I think both men match up very, very closely. I agree with your point earlier. It's the hardest fight for Merab in the division. It's the hardest fight for Umar in the division. And I guess we're not going to find out until Saturday night.